Here's one a little bit different. Well, different for me anyway. Toyota Landcruiser. It's fairly complete. I think we've got enough keys and an ignition key. Fairly good repair. Oh, it's got a little bit of cancer there. Made our own speaker boxes or things. What's that? Huh. That's where the radio lives. $203,375. She's new. 200,000 Ks. Well, somebody loved on her. Although they didn't fit it, clearly. It's pretty neat under there. Bit of something growing on the mirror there. She's definitely a dirty diesel. No one's been under here in a while. She's got aircon. No belt. HJ75 with a 4 litre, so a 2H diesel, and she's a 8th month 1985. So this would be probably the first of this. This is the new shape. The previous guys I think ran right up to 84, so this one being an 85 5-speed and the new body shape. Got a few bumps and bruises around it, but overall it's not too bad. Except for, of course, that. Reckon she's pushed the odd cow out of the way. And the cow looks like it tried to push the car out of the way. (2013), so been parked for about a decade, just over a decade. But overall, pretty good. She's all there. A little bit of cancer. That's okay. It's to be expected. It's a hell of a tray. It's quite wide. The old timber's pretty much rotted out, I think. Put a bit of a garden growing in the corner. And get a go at the height of this headboard. It just keeps going. What the? By the look of the height of that, I'd say she used to get piled up with hay bales or something. Life on the dairy, huh? That's something different. Dirty old diesel. She's definitely dirty. I don't think we've done a diesel. Look at the amount of build up on this block. That is just all dirt. I'd say the little oil leak there has been leaking for a long time down onto the block. Oh God. But these things are generally bulletproof, reliable. They just keep ticking away forever. Oh, there's why our aircon isn't working. Is that our aircon? So somebody's had a crack. Yeah, I think so. Somebody's had a crack at it. I'll just put that back together, you know, to make it better. So you got any brake fluid? Well, that's very intricate. It's not very comforting. Mental note, brake fluid. Clutch has got fluid though. Yep, she's got fluid. We might have some go. I don't know if we're going to have much stop though. And this side's the same. Look at the build up of dirt and crap down there. Typical farm truck, I suppose. So this is not a will it run. Reason being, I was actually told it runs. The problem is how hard it is to start. I was told it's flatten a new battery and jump pack trying to get it to start type of hard to start, if that makes sense. Probably not. But with diesels, there's really only two things you need, is compression and fuel. Because there's no spark plugs. They're compression ignition. You don't have to look for spark. If you've got compression, you've got fuel, they'll generally fire off. But I had a diesel years ago that the injector pump would actually leak down overnight and allow air into the system. Kind of wondering that's where this is going. Maybe. I guess we'll find out. I think we'll start with basics though. Real basics. And by real basics, I'm going to head towards glow plugs first. And they're way over in here. You see that metal strap that runs right along the top of the engine? There. That's your glow plugs. Like I said, because they don't have a spark plug, they rely on just compressing the fuel till it ignites. But a glow plug just gives it that little bit of helping hand, bit of heat in the cylinder, allows it to fire off a little easier when it's cold. This one apparently doesn't seem to matter whether it's hot or cold, but I reckon we start there. That's a good place. Rule that out, move on. So I guess, well, number one, we need to put a battery in it, and then we'll start seeing if we've got power to the glow plugs. If we do have power to the glow plugs, are they any good? But you'd think, unless that odometer stopped working, you'd think with only 200,000 Ks on it, a factory set of glow plugs should get a little bit more life than that. Like I say, they're generally bulletproof, reliable, but that's where we're going to start. That there looks like our glow plug. I don't know, what do you want to call it? A rail? Wire? It's not wire, it's flat steel, but that's where the power's coming from. So here, there, running up to there. Well, let's see if we can get power somewhere there. Battery first. Wrong way. That way, don't mark the paint. I reckon we're going to have to do something with that. That's a lot. A lot of what? I don't know, but it's a lot. That's fitted. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff just sort of piggybacked off the battery. Geez, I wonder if it's not anything to do with glow plugs or fuel. I wonder if it's just to do with power to the fuel cutoff or something like that. half of that's probably powering that amazing radio that's professionally fitted on top of the dash. What do we got? Green wire going that way, yellow wire going the other way. There's a yellow wire, but it's different thickness. It doesn't shock me. Probably changes 7 times between there and there. They're going to nowhere. Anyway, I'll just bash that on a bit better and we'll see, roll the key on, see if we've got some dash lights and go from there. Old tightening hammer. And yes, I'm going to do this now. I know I'll forget, so if I do happen to get it to move, I'm just making sure I can make it stop. I would have thought it was going to be the other way around, because there's a lot of paint missing from around the clutch cylinder, but it's full. There's no paint missing from around the brake master, and it's empty. Figure that out. Or don't think about it, one of the two. This is kind of, you know, inconvenient. Get out of the way, down there, just for a minute. So if I'll turn that wheel, move that wheel so I can get a look at it. Oh, there's the preheat there. So if I turn him on, all we got, oh, that went straight off. That's not even preheating, that could be half of our issue. Ooh, that's just me rolling the key on further. And now I've got nothing. Well, she wants to wind, so we've got dash lights anyway, so I'll knock him out of gear. Would be a good start. There he is. I'll give him a crank. She's got a bit of a gallop in it. That sounded like it had a bit of a gallop, like there's an easy cylinder to turn over, which could mean a stuck valve. However, it still should fire on every other cylinder. So definitely got an easy cylinder to. There's one there that's got no compression, is what I'm saying. But I won't worry too much about that. It could only be stuck valves. If it is, we'll knock the cover off. I'm going to crack an injector line and just see if I get diesel, and then we'll go to the glow plugs. Or do we go to the glow plugs first? I might go glow plugs first. Something's not right for that preheat light not to come on the minute you turn that on too. Yeah, alright, I won't poke the bear because I'll flatten the battery as we said. Let's see where we've got power. Where can I get a decent clean earth? It all looks freaking putrid and stinks of cow shit. Nope, I got nothing there. Absolutely nothing. It's as good a place to start as any, I guess. Nope, nothing. Even when I roll that forward so that light would have been coming on, I'll just check it's still coming on. Yep. The light's still coming on, the preheat light, but there's nothing getting even remotely close to being powered up. So I'm going to check back further, back here. Come here. So I was checking for power up here. I said that sort of runs to the glow plugs along there, but I'm going to come back one step, back down to here. nothing anywhere. Let's have a look at a fuse. So if I was a HJ75 fuse box, where would I live? What is that? Oh, just some stuffing, insulation falling out. Got to be under here somewhere. Oh yeah. Here. Little kick panel. Don't really have a fuse for the preheat. It's got heater. Spare. Righto, that's no help to me. I'll get a torch to see if any of them are blown anyway. Ow. They all look okay, but I'm going to pull them out. There's a slight element of regret right now as I lay pretty much where the dairy farmer's boots would have been, and you can imagine what they would have been covered in. Fuses seem okay. We'll move on. I think I'm just going to start undoing some of this shit and cleaning it up. And if I can't get powder there once that's cleaned up, because that's quite corroded, that could be, I could be getting power and just not realising. So I'll undo that guy, clean him up, and then if I don't have power there, I guess I'll just trace that wire back, see if we can get inside the cab and figure out where it's coming from. Or that guy, that could be it as well. It goes to there, that's more likely a ground. Either way, I'll just start undoing a few of these and see if we can't get something going on. Part of me wants to get across there and sort some of that out first, but it's all going inside the cab, probably to that amazing radio fitment and shit like that, but none of it's coming over to this direction, so I'll just have to ignore that, although it's playing on my mind, and just see if we can get some power here. It just seems odd that that dash light isn't staying on, the preheat light I mean. You should turn the key, it should come on, stay on for a bit and then click off, or it's not, you can hear it here, it's not staying on at all. The preheater I mean. It's clicking straight back off. Who would have thought it's electrical? Me. I would have thought that because of that shit. Righto, let's see if we've just got any power at that wire now he's all cleaned up. Oh. Look. If I can just sit that there and hit the key, just watch that test light. But it's going straight back off. That should be staying on for a little while. But at least we've got something going on. Very dull too, look at that. Righto, we'll figure out why this is clicking straight back off and not staying on. Righto, so when I roll the key on, you saw that gets power for way not long enough. It's like instantaneous and then gone. Well, I could hear it clicking down here, and I've traced it to that solenoid. You see that guy there? And it's doing the same. It's got power on this side, constant, and on this side it's got nothing until you turn the key on, and then it's doing exactly the same as that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that wire there is running through that harness, and that's it over there. But there's got to be some sort of preheat timer here somewhere in between that wire and that solenoid somewhere, and it's not working clearly because it's clicking straight off. So I'm going to strip a little bit of this wiring harness here and just see if I can't get a better idea. Maybe that's got some fairly heavy wires going into it. I wonder if that's the timer. It's an ugly looking bit of shit. Could be the timer. Anyway, I'm going to strip a little bit of wire there, strip some insulation and see what wires go what direction, and see why we're not getting power for longer than what we are. So I traced some wires back and I removed that guy because I was thinking, well, that's probably going to be it. But guess what? It's a starter relay. You know how I know? It says it. Starter relay. So that's not it. But there's another one underneath that's even harder to get at. And so I'm probably going to check that one. I can feel it clicking, so it's working, but why isn't it staying on? And although I could feel that one clicking, it's not the timer, that's a glow plug relay, so they're both working fine. I'll spray a bit of contact cleaner through the plugs, but both plugs are really clean. No dirt in there, like not in the actual plug, the outside's filthy, but so that's not the issue. So we'll keep digging. I think I might cheat and Google what the timer looks like, just so I don't have to undo all the wiring and chase it around. That's another relay over there, but that looks more like a headlight relay or something. So I'll Google it, see what it looks like, and then I'll be able to find it a lot easier, I think. Yeah, let's do that. I'll put all this back. Okay, I think I'm changing my vote. I just put them back on, and while I was putting them on, I was thinking, is it the timer? And I found the timer. It's in this kick trim. Passenger footwell. It's up. It's up there. But the more I think of it, the more I want to blame this guy here. Because solenoids, when they switch on, it should be constant power, but that's switching power back off, but the constant power on this side. So I'm actually thinking it's internal in this solenoid. So I'm going to pull that solenoid off now and probably waste more time. No, I'm going to pull that solenoid off and just give it a good solid clean up and just make sure everything's contacting out the way it should be. Because it doesn't really make sense. I just turn the key on and it clicks. Then why wouldn't the power be constantly on? It's clicking on and off. Anyway, I'm going to pull that out. It should be staying on. The power should be staying constant, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to disconnect everything and clean it all up. Power's lazy. It'll take the path of least resistance. So in a funny way, I'm thinking, is the power not directing through there properly? Is inside, I don't know, rusted, seized up? Guessing at it? Yep, absolutely, I am guessing at it, but it's a good guess. Well, I guess we'll see if it's a good guess or whether it's just a guess, but I guess to explain how they work, relays in general, I mean, is you'll have light power and heavy power, well that's what I call it. Your light power that operates the solenoid with these two wires, and your heavy power will be power in, wires activate the solenoid, power out. But like we see, we're not getting power out, so it's either two things. The solenoid's the issue, or what's controlling it might be the issue. Might check that too. Actually, I can probably check that right now. Don't mess those wires up. The one with the bend in it goes on the right. Yeah, so it's got to be what's controlling that. So I'll clean all that up, put all that back together except for that guy, and then I'll go on a little, I was going to say I'll go on a little wiring hunt, but you know what I might do? Google a wiring diagram. Maybe. We'll see. This will probably sound a little bit OCD, but I can't actually wait to run the pressure cleaner through this thing. I reckon inside of this engine bay is going to come up mint. It's just covered in dirt, but when you actually knock the dirt off it, like down here, It's hardly got a mark on it. Anyway, let's get it running. If I can do it quickly, it'll give us more time to do the other stuff. I've got to do something with that headboard. So I wonder what that solenoid is. I knew what it was called. It doesn't have it on it. Everything else had it on it. Glow plug solenoid, probably. Because it's definitely, that's where the power's coming from. So I'd say just glow plug solenoid. Oh. Alright. So guess what I reckon it'd control glow plug solenoid? A glow plug timer. So I'm back to that timer. Do you reckon hitting it will fix it? Just like, I'm sort of joking, but I'm actually kind of not too. Timer is up there, not down the bottom. So there's no moisture. There's a lot of whatever that is, but there's no moisture got to it, and it looks in really good nick. It's not even dirty. All the wiring looks okay. So this will sound dumb, but I'm actually gonna try another little guess, and it's just a guess, but there's a water temp sensor. It is the only thing that would be telling the timer to switch off quickly. And what I mean by that is, if the engine's hot, that water temp sensor will tell the timer you don't need to stay on for long. I wonder if it's getting really poor signal and just switching straight off. It's the only thing that would really control that timer. So I'm going to undo it, clean it up, put it back together, and hope for the best. So if the water temp's cold, it stays on longer. If the water temp's hot, it goes off quicker, and it's going off instantly. So I wonder if it's just getting poor signal from this. It can only be a benefit if I clean it up. I can't make it any worse, so let's do that. Just wheel-wheeled my finger. Less than pleasant. This could do absolutely nothing. Has it got water in it? Has the level dropped? Is it now sensing air temperature? Although the air temperature would still be pretty low, so it'd still be staying on. Don't overthink it, Michael. Just put it back together and see what it did. But I will check if it's got water in it. Oh, I haven't put that back on straight. Do better, Michael. Do better. So, with everything plugged back in, do you hear that? That clicked inside. Like I thought I could hear the timer turning off. If you listen, so again, we've got a preheat light now, and it's off. Okay, so that wasn't doing that before. So that's back together there. That's the water sensor, and that is back on the glow plug wiring. Geez, it's staying on for a while though. Well, I still got nothing there. I've got nothing there now either. Hang on, what's going on? I've lost it again. So I reckon my next step, because you saw I had power there, then it disappeared, then it was back. I reckon it's going to be the same as that water temp sensor, whatever it is, whatever. And I'm just going to clean up all of those grounds, just so everything's clean. Like at every glow plug, undo it, clean it up, clean that strap up, because if it's smoking, that means that power's getting to that point, but it's clearly not getting past. So maybe it's just poor ground, whether it be from that sensor or whether it be from the actual plugs themselves, because they're covered in, you know, 25 mil of dirt, but something's not grounding. The power's not getting to the actual plug. That's all right, we're making headway, we'll keep going. So we'll undo all these guys and just wire wheel up everything. I'll clean up these straps. Look at that. So we're all wire wheeled up and just going back together, and we'll see if that makes any difference to our power delivery now that everything's grounding okay and everything's technically how it should be. I didn't even have any bits left over. That shocks me just a little bit, but anyway. So I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to clean up all the earths from to the block, to the battery, from the battery to the body, because I've lost my glow plug light again. It's completely out and I've got no power anywhere. So although they're all cleaned and contacting, I'm still scratching my head, where's my power going? So back to basics. And I guess the train of thought goes there, if the block isn't earthed to the battery, because see that go start again, can't even talk, thinking too fast, it's not coming out here. That cable goes to the block. If it's not earthing properly, it doesn't matter that those glow plugs are cleaned and earthing into the block, there's nothing grounding it to the battery. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. It just seems odd that I got power 1 minute, then I got nothing, so it's got to be something simple like this. Nothing's failed. All the relays are working, solenoid's clicking, the solenoid's only doing what it's being told to do, that instant flash of power, that's all it's getting to it. But I'm wondering, is it going somewhere else, like least, what is it, the path of least resistance? And that's what it's doing, it's pissing off somewhere else I don't want it to go. I've got to tell you, the bottom of that cable, I can't even see it for the dirt. So it's probably a good indication that it's just going to be surface rust, kind of like those nuts on that. But why did I have power a minute ago? It's another bolt that's way too long, Toyota. Ooh. Yeah, have a look at this. I can't even see where that bolt's on. That's the cable there. Look how thick that dirt is. I just have to get in there with a wire wheel and find out where it goes. There's even bolt on. Yeah, I think there's a head of a bolt there somewhere. Anyway, oh yeah, there it is. There's the head of it. It's quite a big bolt. Alright, I'll clean that up. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And if you think I sound disappointed, I kind of am a little bit, because it probably means that's not the problem. But I'll clean it up, go through the process, put it back together. I'll put my shadow over that so you can see that this thing is dead set taking the piss. The glow light is back just from cleaning that earth. Hey! So we now have power at our glow plugs. And it should go off about, there you go, righto, here we go. And that was just earths. Is that still hot? Yep, that's still hot. So that still needs some more work. That bolt there is pretty rusty. I ground off the base of the nut, but the straps are pretty bad. Clean them up the best I could. I probably might have to end up sandwiching them between two nice new washers or something like that. However, I reckon we can give this a wind now. I'll glow it 3 or 4 times. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this is going to fire up and run mint, because this has still been parked for a long time, and if you remember, that sounded like it had no compression, so there's probably a stuck valve. But we'll just stop talking and give it a rip. Why did it just shut off? Why did it do that? See if my preheat light's still on. Why do you keep shutting off? With diesels, when you turn the key off, they have a fuel cut off so that no more diesel gets in, so hence it shuts the motor off. I think we have some pretty serious electrical gremlins in this one. I'm going to start, I reckon I'm going to start over here and just start clearing something, sending power somewhere it shouldn't be going. That should just keep running. Have we even still got power now? It's back to doing what it was doing before. So something electrical is not happy. So that went over pretty slow, so I'm going to chuck a battery charger on that battery first of all and just start getting rid of some of this wiring and just see if I can get rid of some of the aftermarket wiring, maybe it'll stop trying to redirect power. I think that's what they have, a diesel cutoff. I could be wrong. Anyway, stop talking. I'll start over here. Check this out. So we undid this guy and this guy, and they run straight in there. Out here, through the kick trim, and out there to nothing. Just, you know, hanging around, rubbing on the tray. Fortunately, I don't think that was our problem, because when I went into that fuse holder, that's the fuse, and you can see there's no middle on him. So that's not great, but it's not our problem, but I can get rid of it. Straight through the kick trim, that's a beauty. Could have just went under it. Never mind. What's next? See, that looks like factory, but oh, that's broken. What the hell is that? What is that thing? Either way, it can come out. What do you make of that? Gone now. And a yellow and a brown. Oh, they're just... Oh, that's good. Yeah, that threaded it through there. That's pretty good. So our radio can take a bit of a break. Where are they going? Oh, oh, I didn't like that. Oh dear, I just saw daylight. I don't want to see that. Oh, that's where we hide our wiring. Where's all that going though? Well, there's the... Must be speakers behind the seat, is there? She was the party model. The seat won't come forward. No, seat won't come forward. The only thing I'm sort of thinking is maybe they had lights or something on the top of the tray at some stage, because those two big red and black wires heading backwards go under the seat and whatever, but they're not connected to anything. Neither are those two little wires there. Anyway, you watch, I'll take all of these out and I'll have no power. None, just be gone. Shouldn't joke about that, should I? There is two electrical connectors that need to be replaced. Am I going to do it? Nope. But they are buggered. I'll fight with it for a couple more days and then replace them, and that'll fix everything, no doubt. Righto, as temporary as that looks, it'll probably be permanent, but anyway, let's see where we go. My preheat power's back, although I think that's just me moving it. My glow plug's power's back. And it cuts off again. Get some revs up there. Idling very low. That's better. Just a little idle screw there. You see just there, that little screw screws out onto that throttle plate and just holds it open. It's just resting on it there. All I did was screw that in a fraction and that just brought the idle up. It actually doesn't sound too bad. I just wonder what's going on with that cut-off. Could check if it's charging. Maybe it's a low voltage thing. 13.1. These things are usually bulletproof reliable, so I had no doubts that it would run. But it doesn't mean we'll fix that stopping issue, something's happening off. What have we got in the way of gauges? Oh, tacho doesn't work. So she's clearly got a few gremlins. Ooh. Oh, look at the dust come out of there. Might leave that off forever. Ooh. Wish I didn't do that. Feels like the park brake is actually sticking on. I guess we'll find out. Oh, have we got a clutch? Yep, we've got a clutch. That handbrake is definitely stuck on. I know how I'll fix that. I'll low range it. We'll get it to move. It smells like something's burning though. It's got a distinct smell of burning. Maybe it's just all the dust and everything getting hot on the exhaust, but geez, it stinks. I reckon to get the handbrake to come off, maybe low range first. We've got all our gauges except the tacho, but I'll see if she's gonna want to move out of here. Oop, it's gonna move. The clutch actually feels pretty bloody good. What was that? That didn't sound good. Alright, let's take him for a run, see what we're working with. We know the terrible wipers work, that's for certain. We got lights. No dash lights inside. Ooh. We've got one indicator. See, again, we might start sorting stuff like that out and it might just come good. The fact it's intermittent is telling me there's something, I don't know, something simple. But anyway, let's have a drive. Geez, these things are slow. Yep, clutch is feeling pretty good actually. Power steering, however, is feeling non-existent. Absolutely non-existent, and that noise it made earlier. Yeah, it's got no power steering, so I've got to find out what's going on there. Might have done a pump. Maybe that's why it was parked. We've definitely got some work to do, but anyway, we'll start from the start. I'll start stripping her out. Hopefully all these little wiring issues will sort themselves out as I start cleaning him up. The day sort of snuck away on me a bit. I didn't expect to be to-ing and fro-ing with that electrical issue. And I guess in the morning we'll see if it's actually rectified or whether, you know, it's intermittently just playing up again. But first thing in the morning, I think what I'll do is I really want to pressure clean under the bonnet of this thing, but I think I might strip the interior out so I can do everything and just get back to basics and see exactly what we're starting with. Find out where all that wiring under the floor is headed, how bad the rust is in the floor. And I guess then we can see if we need a floor pan or whether I can patch that a little bit inside the door, and then we'll start from there. At least it's running though. So now I can spend a fair bit of time on the paintwork. Maybe whip some stickers off and drop that headboard. That's crazy. Anyway, we've got a fair bit to do on him. I'll see you in the morning. Might sound like a bit of a drop kick move, but I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to ignore the wiring and just start cleaning it up, buffing the paint, because that's what you do when you got wiring issues. You buff the paint. No, I'm going to buff it so that the outside's ready to wash. I'm going to strip the interior so the inside's ready to wash, and then we can do the engine bay and just do the whole thing in one go. And that'll expose, hopefully it'll expose maybe a little bit of a window into what's going on. I'm still convinced it's only an earth or something simple like that. But first thing, to get to this paint to buff it, I'm going to knock that headboard off just so I can get to the back of the cab, buff that, and work our way forward, get some stickers off. Stop talking. Let's just get into it. We reckon that was maybe a spotlight, maybe just another aerial. But here's something else that disturbed me greatly. The screws at the back of the cab, they're everywhere. More there. So I'm pretty keen now to get those seats out and find out what's behind the seats. Is it electrical? And is that one of our causes? Anyway, should I take the bar off? The bar's staying, I might add, but I'm just wondering if I should take it off to clean across the back. I'll decide on that one. I won't take it off yet. I might be able to just hand polish across the front there, because that bar is quite mint. Like, if you don't look at the rust there or the bends there or the more rust on that side, it's very mint. It tells a good story. a story of abuse. Alright, let's get some things off, get these stickers off and get buffing. And I know I'm a bit of a broken record on this one, but bag and tag everything. Doesn't matter if it's coming off for a day or coming off for a month, you can never get it wrong if you're tagging. I tried to undo it the nice way. It doesn't want to play. Oh, I'm thinking they've never been off before. This is going to come up spectacular, I think. I might not try and hack at that. I might hit him with some wax and grease remover, just see if I can get that gum off, rather than try and scratch along there with the razor blade. I'd hate to scratch my paint, although that was coming off pretty easy. Change of plan, just going to do this now. I thought that was going to be a nightmare. And I'm just holding him real flat so you're not digging into your paintwork, but I'll probably still mess it up about now. So I'm going to buff the outside, but first I'm going to give it a real quick Scotch-Brite. See how thick that oxidization is? Well, that stuff is what's going to clog up your buff pad as you're trying to buff across. So you're going to spend half the time clogging your pad instead of actually shining the paint. That's where I've just been leaning over it and where I've took the stickers, and you can see the difference quite clearly. Well, I'm going to Scotch-Brite it just with your normal old household green, and you can see the difference that's already made. Actually, I think there's an old repair there. Just like that. It'll start bringing it up, and then we'll buff that up just to get rid of most of that. You can see the white goop. Anyway, we'll do that. Make it easier to buff. So I'll just back him back onto the rocks with the hose and just Scotch-Brite over him, then we'll get into buffing. When you're buffing, you're not there for a particular time or a particular pressure or anything like that. Get your head where you can actually see the result. If you're moving this way, get your head where you can see a reflection in the gloss level that you're leaving there. Even if it means getting your head down and looking like you're some sort of victim of a horrible incident, but put yourself in a position where you can actually see the result of what you're doing. For instance, on the top here, I can see a reflection of that wall. Faster is not necessarily better either. And already you can see the gloss level there changing. And this is why I wanted to buff it prior to washing it. That's all compound stuck in the rust. Well, that's going to have to be pressure cleaned out. And there is going to be parts where you have to go around and manually just do it with a polish rag, up it hard against little panels like that. But that's what I'm after. Just a nice bit of gloss, you know, so we can polish up all the amazing bodywork. Alright, let's stop talking. So all buffed up, and it did make a hell of a difference, even though it's still dented and shitty. But I just went to back it back to wash it off, because if you don't get this compound off, when it dries it hardens and then it becomes a real issue. And I'm now absolutely convinced we've got a ground or an earth problem, because I just went to roll the key on, and again I've got no preheat light, but I could hear something buzzing away over there, and it's not the timer. It actually sounded like it was coming from here, and what I actually found it was just the fan was on. It was on low, so you could hear it just ticking away like that. But the minute I turned it off, my glow plug light came on. And see, it's done it again. I've turned the fan on and off, and then my glow plug light came on. My preheat. See, there it is again. So I'm now absolutely convinced that we've got a little ground issue here. If you're turning something like the fan on or off and it's taking power away from somewhere else, clearly power is taking the easy route somewhere else. So this will sort itself out. I know I said that before, but it will sort itself out. So now that it's glowed, it should start nice and easy. Will not. Easy enough. Easy enough. Righto, so I'm going to rush through this next bit. I want to strip this interior out, but I'm starting to lose daylight. So I'll stop yakking and I'll start getting these seats out and find out what's behind them. See, there's cords running here everywhere. I want to find out if that's what the drama is with all these electrics. Alright, let's get these out, strip that floor out, see how bad that rust is, and then probably wish I'd never done it. Anyway, let's get out. That doesn't shock me. I've seen some really queer shit from, like, in general. No, but seriously, I've seen some really strange electrical shit just from earths, like brake lights that blink when you turn your indicators on and stuff like that. And if I can get behind this, I'll find out. There's more wiring there in between the seats. Going to absolutely nowhere again. Can't lift it up, it's zip tied down, but there's more. I'm eager to see what's behind this seat because I can't get it to flip forward. That's terribly inconvenient. Maybe push it down. That's actually going to make it painful to try and get it, the back bolts too. I wonder if I can get that one. I've got to get this forward so I can get to the... I've got a good handle to hang on to. Come on. Here she comes. Here you go. Come on. I'm just going to try and drown both rails of both sides in WD. Get them to slide because I can't get to the back bolts. I've got to go on now. And I still can't get to them. You're shitting me. Oh, they're not too bad. They're right at the back of the seat. So if I... Oh, yeah, I'll get them now. I'll actually get the vacuum first, then I'll get them. Oh, jeez. So somewhere out there there's a dairy cow missing its identification tag, so it won't know who it is. But I didn't expect that. I thought UHF for sure, but anyway, that's coming out. And whatever that is that belt? Oh, that's the other half of the belt. I thought that was steel. But it's coming out too, so we'll get all this junk out. Wiring's not as bad as I thought, to be honest, under there. And then we'll start pulling all that out. Is it screwed? Must have 2 screws run down. That's excellent. Wonder why. Anyway, that can probably come off now. can't really judge too hard on this one. I've done some pretty questionable stuff with tech screws. It looks too intricate, so I'm just going to do that. And they're not tech screws, they're Phillips head screws. No, it's going to be a quick release as well, I think. Oh, we weren't going to let it come off. Oh, of course, flatheads. That's why my Phillips wouldn't get it, and they're only finger tight. What was that for? Just a random chunk of wood. The cow with no identification tag. I wonder if it was on the back of a carton of milk. Missing. Whatever. You get it, don't you? Did you get it? Anyway. If you don't get it, I'll work on it. I'll get better. Promise. I promise. So that rust, yeah, it's there. It's probably not as bad as I expected. Oh, yeah, no. Stop looking, Mike. Keeps going. Anyway, we'll get that pressure cleaned out. We've got that little bit there to do. That bit there goes over into the center of the floor. But other than that, it doesn't look too bad, you know. But this, oh, it goes out there. It's not part of that radio. Not radio, it's phone thing. So what have I cut there? Goes back along the chassis. Oh, it's probably only trailer, oh no, there it is there. I was going to say trailer connector, but it goes to nothing. Oh well, fixes that. I'm actually pretty pumped that I think I've only got the one floor pan to do. Don't get me wrong, that's thin as, but I reckon I got it in the nick of time because that dirt is fairly wet to the point where you almost have to scrape it out with a wire brush. So it wouldn't have been much longer and we wouldn't have had another sill here and another floor pan to do, so that's good. It's good news. That door trim was never coming off. Well, never falling off. It's going to come off. They are dead set roofing screws. This speaker installation was wind rated. If you ever pull one of them off, right, little tool gets the clip off and go, there wasn't even a clip on that. No, that's what they do. Them and 10mm sockets are the world champions at hide and seek. You push it off straight in behind the trim and you'll never ever see it again. Either that or they go ping and they're off into the neighbour's yard. I'm looking at these trims, trying to think ahead of what I can do with this without actually replacing the whole trim. They're quite expensive, believe it or not. Around 500 bucks for a pair. I don't want to do it. But I don't want to leave it like that. That's right. It needs to be nice. No. Anyway, I reckon I'm going to try and maybe out of Perspex cover, forget that one, but cover as much as I can. And then paint the Perspex the same colour as the trim, but here's the grey area, pardon the pun, but I think I won't do it that grey. I think I'll try and find something more. I got cheeky, right? I bought carpet. As soon as I saw the floor and as soon as I bought the car and the floor was obviously not going to improve, I bought carpet, but I've bought chocolate brown. I've bought seat covers. I think they're a dark grey like that. So if we get the front put back together, brown carpet, dark grey, we've got dark grey there, we've got a light brown there, I'll decide then, and I'll just mix some up in acrylic or something like that, and we might try and do the speaker mounting thing. What would that be called? An abomination? No. And do that trim as well, just to clean them all up. And that's about as cosmetic as you're going to hear me ever get. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Or I'll run out of time, do none of that, and just put the trim back in like that, and no speaker. I don't know, we'll see. If I keep talking I'll run out of time, so how about we stop talking? Let's get something done. So this morning is all about cleaning. I'm going to pressure clean everywhere. Inside, the tray. The tray is probably the place I'll start because it's got a bit of a garden here. And in that corner. And then of course underneath, so we can clean up that section there. Try and get the dirt. That's just built up dirt inside that. That's why that's rusted out. More there, geez. Anyway, it's going to be a fair bit of pressure cleaning, to the point where I'll probably have to do it once or twice. So that was pretty much a full day on the pressure cleaner, inside and out, underneath. Well, underneath to the best of my ability, but inside come up good. Inside the doors was really good. Barely a spot of rust in there. That's our rust we're going to address tomorrow. That's probably first job. Sort out that floor. Once that's done, and maybe fix that. I don't know what that was there for. Maybe somebody decided a sneaky repair, easy to get at, when you can just unbolt that. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but maybe patch that. I say then interior can go back in. So rust, patch that, carpet, seats. I've got seat covers coming, and then back to the outside. I like how the tray sort of came up. It's got a little bit of colour to it now in the timber. I am going to do something with that tray though, even if it's only just to change a colour. That headboard I will put back on, but I'm going to bring it down a mile. But I'm up on jack stands, so I can do the last bit of cleaning, and that is wheels off and really pressure clean underneath. Don't get me wrong, it's still old Toyota, but hell of a lot better than what it was. You can actually see the engine block. It actually came out really good. She's a lot glossier. Definitely worth the effort of buffing it. But still a long way to go. Tomorrow will be a good day though. Rust done, interior can go back in, as long as our carpet turns up, that is, but it should be here tomorrow. For now, just knock these wheels off and get ready. I couldn't quite get behind here, so they're still going to be pretty dirty. Yep. And so that'll be the last bit of my pressure cleaning. While I was pressure cleaning, I had plenty of time to think about what else to do. And I pulled up for 5 minutes and I've bought a set of 50mm extended shackles. So that will actually space the spring lower, which in turn lifts the body higher. It won't be a hell of a lot, but it just sort of might lift him up a bit. He's looking a bit sad and droopy. So we'll do that, and I've got some other wheels too. Nothing elaborate, they're just old wheels I have, but they're better than that. These old split rims, people don't want to even deal with them anymore. But anyway, I'll get these off and we'll get ready. And I'm kind of glad that I did order shackles and that sort of thing. I saw these Nolithane bushes in the front once I started pressure cleaning and went, oh, did I just order shackles for nothing? Nope. Look where that shackle is. Sorry, look where that leaf spring eye is. Look where that pin is. They're flogged out internally. And the other thing is, look at the elongation of that hole. So you compare it to the other one and go, that one looks homemade. They're nothing alike. And that one's shot too. Look how low that that bolt is in that eyelet. So that both of those nolothanes are crap. That top one, oh yeah, it's crap too. I thought it was grease hanging out the top of it, but it's not. It's just brittle rubber. And I ordered new shocks as well, just to go along with the new shackles. So hopefully it'll go from handling like a barge in a rip with them to, you know, maybe just like an old cruiser should. Like I say, that feels like one of those days you're going around and around circles, but I went around that probably 3 or 4 times and it's well worth it. Minimal outlay, huge difference. Just now it's buffed up, cleaned off. Still got a little bit to go, but I think I will actually write myself a little list as well, just so I'm not coming back and going, hey, what was next? So I will do a little bit more cleaning. So just clean underside, rust in the floor, because I pre-ordered the carpet, so it'll definitely be the first thing that's here. And if I've got the floor done, it's carpet in, seats back in, the seat covers will come next. So floor and seat covers, black underneath. I say black underneath because as soon as I finish washing under there, let it dry, black underneath, I can get onto shackles, will be the next thing to come. Then maybe we can look at what do we do with the colour of the front bar, colour of the tray. I'm thinking like a hammered finish grey, same you'd do a toolbox or something like that in. And then maybe the wheels I'll show you tomorrow, they're nothing crazy. They're just a set of steel wheels, newer tyres, but I might make them maybe something that matches in or comes close to matching in with whatever I do the bar and tray. Plenty to go. That's not a very long list. I've obviously got a lot more to do, but I'm not thinking. Oh yeah, the spare wheel. Spare wheel's actually got to happen before all of that. I've got to get the spare wheel out before I clean, so it's actually right up the top. Spare wheel, clean underneath, rust in floor. That'll probably see a day out. Hopefully the carpet and seat covers are here, and that'll be the interior going back together. Then something with those door trims. Damn it, forgot about them door trims. That's enough on my list. I don't want to make it too long and overwhelming. We'll just get stuck into that tomorrow and see where we end up. Looks a mile better though. Anyway, see you in the morning. How good are cars? But seriously, as bad as it looks, this is going to be the cleanest it's probably been in 40 years. And then when I paint it, it's probably going to be the most protected it's been in 40 years. So it'll be worth it. And now it's going to start to rain. Doesn't matter, I'm already wet and freezing anyway. I'll just suck it up. It's pointless having that on. Absolutely pointless. Well, probably re-topsoil the yard. It'll grow now because it's topsoil mixed with dairy, you know, dairy stuff. Oh Christ. Adjustable. I didn't know we were dealing with a race car. Anyway, I'll mask him up so we can still read our instructions and get it blacked. I'm just going to try and keep moving forward while I can. Yes, I haven't done the floor pan and I've masked up the paint. I can touch that back in later, but just while it's up on stands, I thought I'll get under it, get it masked, get it blacked. Then we've got a nice clean starting point. I trimmed the bottoms of the bar. I just masked a line along and cut it with the grinder just to get rid of that rust. And I haven't put the headboard back on. I'm actually going to paint the headboard off because once it's back on, it's very difficult to get at from behind. The sides I'm going to spend a little bit of time on just sanding the outside. I'm not going to worry about the inside. I've just pressure cleaned inside them to the point where there's no further paint coming off. That's going to be good enough, and then we'll just sand the outside where you're really going to see. So the bar, all the chassis is just black, and then we'll do the hammer tone on the tray and just see how that looks. So the black that I'm using underneath it is nothing elaborate. It's just a subframe black with a minor rust inhibitor. As far as preparation goes, it's been sandblasted from driving down dirt roads, and so I've pressure cleaned it so it's perfectly clean, and there's not an ounce of gloss on it. It's going to stick. In a funny way, it doesn't matter what you put over it, it's going to protect it rather than leaving it the way it is. As far as the sides and the back goes, I'm using a hammered finish grey, the sort of grey enamel that you'd get on toolboxes and stuff like that. And I've done the insides of the tailgate and sideboards as well. I'll hang them on the tray and do them when I do the front of the headboard. I'll actually fit them up and close them up and then just do them on the side. But I don't mind that grey. I think it came up pretty good. So it's almost a full day on the gun, painting and spraying, and I think for the rest of the afternoon I'm just going to Scotch-Brite these wheels. Oh, I tell you, I got different wheels. They're nothing expensive or elaborate. Actually, I pulled them off a trailer I had. I wanted to drop the deck height of a trailer, so these are like a 235 75 15, so they're roughly the same height as the factory wheels, but I put a 14-inch rim and tyre on the trailer just to drop the deck height. But these will work perfectly for that, but I'm not having white, so Scotch-Brite it is. Actually, the paint's peeling off as we speak, so anyway, I might pressure clean them first. But yeah, I'm going to sit around, Scotch-Brite these guys. I am going to do them a grey, but not the same grey as the tray. I don't want the hammered finish on here. I don't want it looking like one of those vehicles where the tray, the wheels, the bull bar, they're all painted in the same colour, and it's like, that was on sale, that colour. But I'm going to do a gunmetal grey or a wheel grey on these, similar we did the VB Commodore a few episodes ago, just to break it up a bit so it's not all black, or I don't want too many colours. But white is just, I'm just not feeling it, so grey it is. Anyway, rubbing these down won't be very exciting, so I'll see you in the morning. So this is the point we're at right now. I've got all the underside all blacked, nice and neatened up. If you remember, the headboard we'd cut off, I trimmed him down. I gusseted this section here just with a thinner piece of pipe and whacked the headboard back on, and then we've coloured the rest of the tray sides just in that hammer tone grey, like I said. And it's a 10-footer, and I don't mean 10 foot long, I mean it's good from 10 foot back. And yesterday I started Scotch-Briting the wheels. Well, it got a little bit out of hand. I figured if I was going to Scotch-Brite them, I may as well tape them. When I taped them, I thought I may as well paint them, but I had 3 goes at that grey. I wanted the wheel grey, and it's just an acrylic lacquer, slightly darker than the tray. I didn't want them exactly the same colour, and I mean that's hammered finish, so it's got that weird sort of, you know, effect to it, and that's just a grey metallic. So on my third try at making them darker and darker, I don't mind how they came out. I'll get them unmasked in a minute, and then started to move on to in here. So all I've done is created a template that'll cover all the rust, and that rust there, I've got another one. Which way does it go? That way. No, other way, that way. So we'll get that one as well. So just with my cardboard template, and I just traced around the very edge and then cut about 40 mil inside that edge, just from the line I've cut inside the edge, and I'll get to why in a minute. So after that came out, which is that section there, and I started bending up that guy. Now it doesn't have to be perfect at this minute, and I'll explain that later, but I've just got some holes drilled for spot welds down that side, and we're just going to stitch weld in the top, because This section here is actually overlapped. You'll see the spot welds there and there. And I can't see the others, but they're there. And so I'm going to stitch weld across there because that is double skinned and overlapped. You can see by the seam sealer there. And once we get to this side, I'm going to do what's called cut and butt. It's where you run the grinder down the edge of your panel and actually cut the perfect line as you're welding it in. So we'll have this side spot welded, that side tack welded, and then just let it flex as we push it down. Same with here, we'll just take it out as we go in. I hammered those ribs out, I don't miss them. And I'm not going to put ribs into that because I don't have the time nor the equipment. Putting ribs into that guy, trying to order a specific pressed floor pan, I just don't have time for it. So we'll just make do with what's going on here. I'll get that spot welded, that tack welded, and then we'll start cutting and butting that side. Righto, let's stop talking. Oh, I've already cut that guy. I've just got to start the, is it that way or that way? I think it's that way. I've just got to start to bend him and shape him, but I'll do the floor pan first. Then we'll get to that. Alright, now we'll stop talking and get something done. I'm just going to spot weld these two guys, maybe that third, and see how it's still sitting up there, still sitting up here. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get these guys spotted, and then just start forcing that down into the shape and then start coming around it. Okay, so 3 spot welds, and then I'm just going to start forcing that down. You can see there's about a 4 or 5 mil gap. You start forcing it down, spot weld that guy, start forcing it down, spot weld that guy, and just chase it that way so you end up with your perfect curve. And then we'll do the same across there till we've got that down. I'm just going to pull just a little bit of curve into that. Yeah, see, I can get that one now. He's touching, so that gap's gone. Oh, and those two are getting pretty close, so I'll get that one. I'll push him down and get that one. That was a terrible weld, but I got it. That's better. You'd never know I messed it up the first time, would you? I'll start forcing that down. Now, on this edge, it's spot welded in from factory, right? So you're just going to seam seal all the way down that when you're done. For now, let's just keep moving on. Now I'm just going to start chasing him across there, just pushing him down, forcing him down. Over there feels a bit high. I reckon I can get to about there, then I'm going to have to start pulling him down. So that's now not going to move. I've got a couple of tacks across to there, but that corner, see how it's up in the air? That's where I'm going to start to cut and butt across here. I'm literally going to cut a line straight down there. Just hold your grinder, hold your grinder on a bit of an angle and go straight down there and start cutting that edge. Then you can push that into the cut and that will bring all of this down. When this guy starts to mate up, you can bring it all down. Don't worry about the ribs, I've already flattened them out, but we can dress them up as we go along. By dress them up, I mean put a dolly underneath and just tap it down. But we'll start by cutting him. Now don't worry about the scrap part that's underneath. Once you finish cutting along all the lines, it'll just come out from underneath. So now, so if I get him down like that, I might actually go a bit further. So I really want to get that bit there tacked. See, that's actually, I'll put one there. That's perfectly the same height. So I'll bang one on there. And so if you run something across that now, it's the same height. I'll cut through there, bring him up, and then we'll tap all this section up and do the same going back this way. This corner won't come down any further until we start cutting along there, but if you just keep working your way along, we'll get this corner down. She got a bit wild on me then. And then I can start, because that's nice and taut now, if you start beating on it, it'll actually bend rather than just flex and jump around. So we'll give it a couple of hits. So I've nearly got that section down there too now. I'll cut along there one more time. We should just about get that corner. So all that was doing, like I say, is just keep chasing that little cut, tack it, chase the cut, tack it. And now you see with all that crazy shape that's along there, we have a perfect butt weld. Now, I'm not worried about the shape. I'm worried about just the floor panning. But that's how you can make your floor pan fit perfectly butted up. And I will run the grinder down them, but because there's a little gap, they're not sitting too proud. I'm not unhappy with that. And now you can just start chasing it down along here and spot welding it in to there, and we'll do the same on this corner that we've done with that one. Again, that top one will overlap the same way the factory one does, and we'll seam seal it. And if I was going to try and give you anything at all with that, start your arc on the fresh steel and then just twitch it across like an involuntary spasm, just across the left. So you'd start on your fresh steel and just twitch him across, start on your fresh steel, twitch him across. It's rather than trying to start in the gap and you blow a hole, trying to start on the older steel that's probably thinner, probably because it's a little bit rusty, but so far I'm not having too much trouble there. But start on your fresh steel, twitch across, get that twitch happening. And so continuing on, I've just cut along there and along there, and see how that's not even close to lining up, but when you start pushing it down, it'll come down. You can get one there, tack him there. That corner, I think I still need to take a tiny bit out of that corner. I might have to do that from underneath. Just push him down, put a tack there, let him come back up, and start working your way down there. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, because if you start cutting the whole thing, by the time you lay this down, this steel won't be where it was there. It'll move. So I'm just going to get that corner and to about here tacked in, and then we'll start again. And so we're tacked up to about here, but I've came back over here because this is the section with the most shape, and it's the most, well, it's a section that's going to move the most as the panel goes down. And I've tacked that guy there, and so now there's a bit of strength. You can actually go around and just shape that up. Then we'll cut down that side, and I might actually, rather than have that rounded, that's going to be hard to follow, I might actually cut straight across this side into a corner and then straight down that side, because the rust was really down here, so we're going out past it. So I'll nick up there, push that guy down, and then we'll cut and just keep chasing that shape around and push that panel across. As we get more and more tension, if you like, on the floor pan, I'll be able to chase that shape all the way across there with the hammer. You probably couldn't see what I was talking about from over there, but you see how now I'm getting a crease across here, but it disappears. There's not enough shape there. So as I cut that and spot weld that into about there, I will cut that on a straight angle rather than the cut that lines up with this edge. But I won't cut that one just yet. I'll maybe put a texture line to here, cut down there and chase that down, and then start putting the shape in here, because that'll bring that edge way down. So we're still 15 mil off the floor there, but as we chase that across, we'll just keep cutting as we go, cutting and butting. So just like that. And if I take that away, you'll see the straight lines, just to make it easier on myself coming across straight rather than trying to cut it around. So I'm going to cut this side first. I'm not going to touch that steel because that's going to come down a mile. So I'll just start from here, cut up there, across maybe to about there, and then as that's going down, I'll start hammering in some shape there and get this closer to that panel. Perfectly butted along there, so we'll start tacking along there. That's hot, just by the way. You can sort of see where I'm headed with that. I started hammering in some more shape there. I've got all that, you know, tacked in there, and that's what I'm saying about don't get too far ahead of yourself. As it went down, it actually widened that gap. That's all right, just get the twitch, start on this side and just twitch it towards that side and you'll bridge that gap pretty easy. But you can see this section here, as I keep cutting, start cutting across here, it's just going to lay in. I'll just start pushing it in until you get to that corner. All that's nice and flush. I think that'll close up. That'll close up just nice. That just popped into place. Oh, if I tack to about there and just tap that back up, that's what I mean, cut on an angle. Essentially the cut's going to be like that. Let's just jump together. I'll just tap that edge back up. I've got the slightest little lip. I've got a little lip here. I'll tap that down now. It's pretty much tacked in. Mint. Not going to believe it. And as you're cutting all the way around, all of that, all the little bits, you're essentially cutting them off, so you're not leaving behind an overlap. There it is there. That fits in there. Well, actually it fit down like that. That's the section that you've cut out. Because as you're slicing down, you're taking off that excess. If you remember, I said 50 mil or 40 mil. Did I say 40? Well, that's the excess there. That's all. Perfectly butted in. If you have a look underneath, that's basically how it comes up. You can see it's penetrated right through because you've got a little gap there. There's where I got a little wide, but he's butted up all the way through. If you've got to that point, you don't need me anymore. You just go around and finish spot welding him in, or you know, stitch welding him in. Just, you know, the old twitch. Anyway, I'll get that done. I'll get this one in. I'll see you in a little while. So all stitch welded in. And you got to go a bit slow so you're not blowing holes, but that steel's pretty good. And as I said, just little welds across the top there, because after all, that is spot welded in from factory, and so is that. But there's one thing going on in here. It's a little bit of tin canning going on. So the way to fix that is that. Just like that. And yeah, you purists are going to go, well, that's what the ribs are for. Don't care, it's in. Little bit of hammer marks there and up there. Don't care. Good enough for me. Did I say that we got this one in the nick of time? I'm just starting to cut out this section of sill panel, and look. Like, that's just mud and crap. That's baling twine. Like, how the hell does baling twine get in the sill? Look at it. It's thick. And plastic. But I'm not going to freak out about it. There's drain plugs here and here. But I mean, they're up a bit high. You see there, the bottom of the sill's about there. But there's also drain plugs there and there. So I'm literally going to get as much out as I can, and then I'll take these out and just hose them out. So that's our end result. As I said, I'm not grinding up any of those welds. I'm just going to leave them for strength, pull some seam sealer over it, and I will put a little bit of body filler just in there. I just don't want to grind too much of that weld away on the edge there. I'll leave some strength in that as well. So a little bit of body filler there, some primer, edge prime this, seam seal it, and get underneath and do the same. So that's my floor in and seam sealed. I know it doesn't look great, but that's how it's done. With the factory overlaps and spot welds, the seam sealer is designed to not let moisture in behind your panel. And as far as your butt weld goes, if you've got one little porous weld or one little pinhole and you get some moisture from underneath or in there, that's what'll start your rust again. So do seam seal, as ugly as it looks. But then you can just go back over them. With my floor drying and the rust done, that's pretty much inside done. Except I'm still waiting on carpet, so I can't refit anything in there just yet. But we've got these to go on with. These are 2-inch drop shackles. They'll actually drop the eyelet down lower, which in turn raises up the vehicle off that standard leaf spring. Now here in Australia, you can lift or lower your vehicle up to 50 millimeters or 2 inches. So that's what I'm going to do. We might even take a couple of measurements from the guard down and just see exactly what we get out of them. But if they're buggered and I was going to replace them anyway, I may as well pick him up a little bit. It's too late in the day to be arguing with nuts that won't undo. I'm going to cut him. Where did that go? There. I thought it got stuck in my hoodie. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Catch on fire because of your hoodie. Oh. But if you want a hoodie, go to backshed.net.au. Then you can catch fire in your hoodie as well. See what I did there? Turned my distinct lack of safety into buy a hoodie. I'm clever like that. Oh, well, they're even. Now how low can I get them? I tell you what, if that's any indication, they're going to be just fine. That one's going to be hell to get in. That's flat across there like it's been hit with something. Well, I got the right bushes anyway, that's a start. So we'll try and get these ones out. Sometimes burning them out is a good option. I find just spearing them out isn't too bad either. This one I'm not going to have any luck with because it's already shagged. Oh, maybe I will. Might just have to knock that one right through. Look at that. That has taken a good solid whack right on the front of that. See if we can punch that one out now. Gotcha. You know what I just remembered though? What didn't I do? Measure the ride height. Doesn't matter. And we're going to wire wheel them out, clean them out. Anyway, I'll get these other couple out. So So while I'm beating on these to get these out, here's something I'm not very good at, but I'll do it anyway. Shameless self-promotion. I had a couple of comments last video that says, how do I find your other videos? And I get it, if you're a bit low tech, but if you're watching on TV, I'll show you exactly how to subscribe and find our other videos. So if you're watching from your TV, just typing in backshed to the top search bar, clicking there, click on the backshed icon here, and subscribe will come up right there. Once you've subscribed, roll down to videos, and there's all our videos from the F100 to Tomo to wrecking yard walks. There's something for everyone in there, and don't forget, subscription costs you absolutely nothing. It just means you're going to get a notification when a new video is posted. If you're on your phone or your device, if you're on your mobile, type in backshed, click on our icon, subscribe is right there, and tap on videos, and then they will and if you really want to get supportive, more shameless self-promotion, go to backshed.net.au for merchandise, and the hoodies will have the logo on the front, not the back. I don't know why I changed it, I just did. I've had to get a little bit serious on these. That wire wheel wasn't really doing anything, and a die grinder, I'm not actually grinding the hole bigger, it's just all the flakes of rust get grabbed by the, I don't know, the bit, and it just breaks them away. Just leaves you with the general shape. It's pretty pitted, but that one's come up pretty good. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do that for a bit longer because there's no use me trying to wedge a bush. I actually don't think the bush would go back in there, but even if it did, I'd be forcing it in. There'd be surface rust in there, it'd destroy it. That's probably going to do me for now. So I've die ground all the surface rust out of all of those eyelets, and I guess now it's heat up the bushes, start greasing them up and start pulling them in, but I'm going to leave that till morning. Do you reckon that needed replacing? Look at the elongated hole. Look at the edge on that. Man. Anyway, I'm hoping that that's the sort of height difference I get out of them with the extended shackles, because it's a 50mm lift. The shackle seems like it's about 75mm different. I guess because of the lever action, the diff is here, the shackle's there. So anyway, I'd like to see him sitting up a little higher, just sitting up a bit prouder, ready for the next round. Yeah. Oh, and if you did subscribe, thank you. And if you did buy merchandise, thank you also. See you in the morning. Just bunging these shackle rubbers in. And these are definitely not a press-in fit. I didn't predict rain. Well, I didn't look at the forecast, but I pulled it apart yesterday afternoon and thought I'll just do it out here. They're not super hard to fit, and they're very, very cheap way. I'll just give him a little lift. Pick him up just a fraction. Well, we'll see. Might pick him up just a lot. Righto. Let's put some wheels on it. Jack him up, take those stands out and drop some wheels on it. I have incredibly low expectations and even lower standards that I think we can all agree on. But I think something else we can all agree on is they are way too small. I'm not even going to put the other wheel nuts on that because there's no way they are staying on there. I like the height, I like the increased guard clearance, and that's sitting down on the leaves now, but I don't think I can deal with that, especially on the rear. Look at this. And they were almost the same height as the standard rims, very, very close. But I think now that there's a bit more clearance there, they look tiny. And the rear as well. And the worst bit of the rear is, look at the width of the tray compared to that. I know we've still got shackles to put in, but I've sort of jacked the diff into roughly the position it's going to sit. They're nowhere near big enough. They'll be perfect for Rego Day, don't get me wrong, because they're very legal, but they're not big enough. And they are incredibly close to touching that caliper as well, so that might convince me they're not the right wheels for this one. Anyway, that'll be tonight's job, I'd say. Get on Marketplace and see what I can get as quick as I can get it. They've been replaced, those rubbers, those bushes. It's hot. Of course it is. They've both been replaced. They're Nolothane. Do I do them again, or do I just leave them? Geez, that's not great. Look at that. I might replace them anyway, because Nolothane, when it gets old, it'll sit fine and it'll look like that, but the minute you start getting movement, they just fracture and break, so I might just whip them out anyway. Bloody hell. Fixing it with fire. Well, I guess that made up my mind about whether they're any good or not. So I've got the other side out, and I think we can all agree, a lot of agreeing today, I'm glad we're all on the same page, but I think we can agree it's nothing to do with finding, you know, that point where it just slides out, where there's no load on the shackle at all. They're just rusted in. So I'll just keep burning it out. This is actually the Toyota recommended procedure. It's in the owner's manual. Honest. Nolothane is hot too, especially when it's burning. Surprising enough, that's not hot. I thought a bit of... Geez, that cools down quick. Test it with your finger. Good one, idiot. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Got him. This can be a little tough to dig out. A little. I'll just chuck them on, clean up, drop him down, and we'll see how it sits. And look, the sun's about to come out, so I can even get rid of my cover. Famous last words. But we'll drop him down and see what sort of stance. I hate those wheels. I really do. Anyway, we'll see how it sits. Well, that was listed as a 50mm kit, and I can tell you we've got every bit of that 50mm, if not a little bit more. I think that's made a hell of a difference just the way it sits, but I'm still not keen on those tyres. Part of me is telling me to paint those standard rims. And go back to stock. Paint them, new tyres. Part of me saying just get bigger tyres for them. If I'm going to put new tyres on them, I may as well put new tyres on them. Anyway, Marketplace will determine that. I'll see what I can find. And I got some absolutely top of the range custom car seat covers. Cheapest ones on eBay. But we'll get some seats in it. We're getting awful close to a decent drive, and I couldn't get a browny biscuity colour, so grey it is. And I just got grey carpet to match. Well, I've ordered grey carpet to match, it hasn't shown up. That's a bit of a sore point with me right now. Good enough for me. Well, that escalated quick. I'm just giving the dash a clean off, the glass a clean off. I thought I'll get a head start on Marketplace just to see what's there. Just so I don't leave it till tonight. And I've got a set 11 kilometers north of the next town up. Not exactly what I wanted, but they'll be fun. You'll see. .35, 12.5, 15s. Ridiculous, but they'll work. They were cheap, they were close. Well, that certainly brightened her up a bit. And I know they're probably sitting on the wrong side of the legal fence, the size that they are, but I don't care. We're not ready to hit the road in this one just yet. There's still a little bit more I need to do to this one, but we can definitely go and find some muddy dirt tracks. Don't tell me the tacos come alive. It's funny, I got one thing going and everything's going now. Let's go for a drive. I really did enjoy that one, something a bit different, but it won't be the last share of the cruiser. I'm still waiting on carpet. We'll get the interior back together, and there's other little things. There's still a little bit of rust to do and stuff like that, so there'll be plenty more on the old cruiser. Do hit the buttons and stick around. If you think that was a little bit different, wait till you see next episode. It's completely left field. Anyway, until then, I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching. Start again because that sucked. Remain calm, Michael. Remain calm. What to bring them for? That's not what I need. How many times am I going to hit my head on that tail light? Fair dinkum. So I reckon my next step is shoot some birds. No, that's right. Ignore it until it becomes a bigger issue.